Hello, and thank you for purchasing Envelock. If you're anything like me, whenever you purchase a magic trick, you want to learn the secret right away. So this is a really rapid, fast explanation for how this works. Basically, it's a locking envelope. So it looks like a normal envelope, but you can secretly put something inside of it and then have it lock so it can be examined and kept at the end. This is what the envelope looks like at the beginning. So it looks like a normal ordinary envelope. It looks like there's a playing card already inside. And basically what's happening is this is opened in there. And the way that it's open is you will have glue on here and glue on here, but because this is folded, it will not allow the two layers of glue to touch. So it will stay open. And then the cool part is if you have a folded playing card or folded piece of paper or even money, what happens is whenever you slide this in, it unfolds that flap, it pushes your object in, and when you press down, it permanently locks the envelope forever. So it can be kept and examined. Let me show you that one more time. So whenever this is folded up like this, that little flap keeps the two layers of glue from touching. So whenever you slide the object into the slot here, you're unfolding that flap, pushing past, and when you press down, it seals it, locking the object inside forever. So what you're getting is a PDF, which is this. So you can print as many of these as you want. Oh, and also the card looks like it's already in there because whenever you go to make it, you just put a card here and you take your fingernails and rub it over at the beginning, which makes it look like there's already a card inside, which is pretty cool. So with this, you're getting the download of this file, so you can make as many of these as you want and do them forever because you destroy one every time you do the trick, which is fun. You can print it on anything you want, and I'm going to show you how to do it with cards. You can do it with money, you can do it with pieces of paper. You can take the file that came with the trick and blow it up and have it printed on bigger pieces of paper, because now that you know the method, you can do this with any size envelope. The reason why this one is this size is for personal reasons. This is the wallet that I carry around, and so I had this designed to be the exact size of my wallet. So this is an Envelock ready to go. I always have one of these in my wallet, and whenever I close it, it stays perfectly in my wallet. So selfishly, that's why that's this size. And also, it's this size because it's the perfect size for a folded up playing card to be hidden right here, and then whenever it pushes past, just enough room to clear. So this is the smallest possible envelope you can have for the trick to work with the playing card. And again, I just keep this in my wallet, and it can be set forever and always ready to go until you're ready to use it. So what I would recommend doing is print off one of the PDFs, and you can print it off on just a white piece of paper if you want, or I'm going to show you how you can print it off on manila paper, whatever, brown, black, whatever you want to print it on, and grab one of those and grab some supplies, and I'm going to show you how to make an Envelock gimmick first. Okay, so first things first, you're going to want to print one of these gimmicks out, and what I like to do whenever I have the time to is print them out on envelope manila paper. Now you can order just this paper off the internet or go to a paper store and get orange paper, but the easiest way is to do that. A little bit more difficult way is just to take pre-existing envelopes. So these are just regular 9x12. I got these from CVS, just a regular store. You take one of these envelopes that are big enough, and all you do is you cut out an 8.5 by 11 rectangle out of it, just like this, and then you run this through your printer, and then you have an envelope that is printed on the exact stuff that envelopes are made out of. But that's a little bit extra work that you don't really have to go through. You can even just do this with regular white paper, and be fine just as well. So basically print one out and then go ahead and cut along the outside lines. You can either do that with scissors, being very careful, or you can use an X-Acto knife or a craft knife to just go around. Again, being very careful if you use either of those. So this is one here, and you can get rid of your piece of paper. I'll show you what to do with this in just a second. So a couple other things you're gonna need is you're gonna need a glue stick. So this is just a basic glue stick. I like these purple ones because you know when it's dry, because the purple becomes clear. And then you're also gonna need rubber cement. Any rubber cement works. So this is Elmer's No Wrinkle Rubber Cement, and this is Best Test White Rubber Cement, which it says paper cement, but it's white rubber cement for paper. So I use either of these. You can look these up on the internet or use any rubber cement that you can find. You're gonna need that. You're gonna need a ruler. That can be, we're gonna use that in just a second. And you're gonna need a deck of cards if you wanna do a card version of this, but I'll also show you in a little bit how you can use this for other things. So, grab your Envelock gimmick that has nothing done to it yet. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna crease along all of these lines, and then we're gonna pick one of these two lines to crease along. We don't crease along both of these. Basically, the reason why that line is there is to help you glue it, and then also to allow you to decide which way you load your gimmick. So I like to load the gimmick from the right to the left. So that's why I always crease this side and leave this side uncreased. Or you can do that and then have it upside down and push in. It's totally up to you, but we'll get to that in more detail. The easiest way to make these folds exact are, I like to take a ruler and just an X-Acto knife and go right along the line, and I use the back of the blade, so the back end of the blade, and I just run it along the ruler lightly. So all four of these lines, 1, let's see, 2, 3, and 4. So basically this just allows your crease to happen really, really crisp, and you don't have to work too hard on lining up it. But if you're ever making these in a hurry, you can just fold it as close as possible. And then also I'm gonna pick one of these two lines, and I'm gonna do the one on the right, just like this, and like that. So now you have all your creases, and I like to fold all of these things in so that none of the lines are on the outside. So you're just gonna fold along those lines, and if you scored it with the back of a knife or the back of some scissors, then all of these folds just happen really, really easy. So that is basically how it comes together. And then you're also gonna wanna fold this along the line. You can kind of work this one back and forth a few times to make this a really bendy crease. So just like this and like this. So there we go. So this is ready to go now. And now, if you're gonna do a playing card, I recommend doing the raising of the design right now, or a dollar bill or paper, because that allows you to show the envelope at the beginning and make it look like something is already in there, even though it's not. So I like to do this right now. You just place the card in the middle, and basically you're just gonna take your fingernails and run them along all four edges of the card. And this will create the illusion that the card is in there, even though there's nothing in there, which is nice. So people think the card's already in, which is cool. So now what you're gonna do is we're gonna close up the envelope and get it locked and loaded, or not locked, get it loaded so it can be locked. So what we're gonna be using is rubber cement glue that has paper in between the layers of glue. So I've mocked this up just to show you. So this is an index card that I put rubber cement glue all over. So there's rubber cement glue all over this note card, and this note card is completely normal. So if I were to fold this paper, which has glue on both sides, around this note card right now and press down as hard as I can, nothing will happen. I can open this back up, and the glue dry rubber cement glue will not stick to paper. Dry rubber cement glue will only stick to dry rubber cement glue. So now if I take this piece of paper out and we fold this in half and I press down even just the slightest, now this is sealed. So this is sealed, I can't pull this open without tearing the paper, and that's permanently locked and could be examined by a spectator instantly, which is the method for how this works. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to put rubber cement glue, either any brand you want, onto this envelope in a couple of very specific areas. So the first area is, if you're making yours like mine, we're gonna put rubber cement glue I'll marker it so you can see. It's gonna go all right in here. So all inside here. And then the other area it's gonna go is all right here. Obviously don't do this to yours. And the reason why we're going there and there is because in a moment during performance, when we press down, it will lock. But this little flap, when folded over at the beginning, will cause the two layers of glue to not touch until the card or object slides in, which will push the flap open, and then when you press, will seal the envelope. And then the spectator can look inside and keep the envelope because you're all clean at the end. So what we're gonna do is apply the glue over here first, and I'm just gonna grab a couple of note cards so I can glue on the table. So I'm just gonna place this one over here, and I'm gonna place a note card right along that line, so that way we get only glue where we want it. So we're just gonna go like this and place an even layer of rubber cement right there on that area. And then if you hold it up to the light, you can see if we can get this on camera. There we go. You can see that it's wet just in that area. We've only got glue there. And now we're going to place glue on the other side, but we can't have it be anywhere on this flap because that's what we're using to help us. So we're gonna fold, so this is your Envelock gimmick. We're gonna fold this flap over to the left, like this, and keep it under. And now we're gonna put rubber cement just along there, about 1/4 of an inch. So I just like to eyeball this. So we're just gonna put it like that and take our rubber cement. You don't want tons of rubber cement on there. You can, it just takes longer to dry. So the thinner the layer, the less time it takes when making these. And I don't have tons of patience, so I like to make it a thin layer, which is just as permanent. So this is still wet, that's why it's shiny. You can see it, and in the amount of time it's taken me to explain to you how you put the glue on right there, I bet the other side is completely dry now. So I'm gonna show you over here. This is what we put on first, and now you'll notice there's no shine to it because it's completely dry. I can touch it with my fingers. This can touch paper and not stick to anything, but the moment this area touches dried rubber cement, it will lock forever, which is pretty cool. So this area on this side that we just applied, you wanna wait for it to dry long enough for the shine to go away. Once that wet look has gone away and it's a matte finish, you know that your glue is dry. So, let's see, we're gonna slowly assemble this, just like this. And again, if I press down right now, that would lock forever. So be careful that you don't do that just yet. What we're gonna do is take this flap of paper that has no glue on it right here, and we're gonna fold that layer from left to right, just like this. And we're gonna press down. And again, that will not stick to the glue because it's dry. And then we're gonna fold this on top, okay? So now, whenever the card goes in, it will open that flap and those two layers of glue will lock. So we'll go like this and like this. And now we're just going to apply a glue stick to this flap here and this flap here. You don't really have to do this in any specific way. And I just use a glue stick because it's faster than rubber cement. If you haven't noticed, I'm not very patient when making gimmicks. I like to make them fast. And also I like to make a bunch of these at once. So you make 10 of these while you're watching something on Netflix or on TV. And that way you have 10 of these gimmicks ready to go because they can lay around in this position for as long as you want, and they won't go bad. I mean, maybe if you laid them around for 100 years, then it wouldn't still work. But that is a finished Envelock gimmick. Now, because this glue stick is purple, what's nice is if you still see a little purple, that means it's still wet. So you just want to press this down. I like to press down on both tabs. So I'm going to press down on this tab, this flap, and this flap. I'm never really going to push down too hard on this area because you kind of want it to open easily for you for the performance. So whenever you go to perform this with this gimmick, you don't want this to be too flat. It will work if it's pressed down really flat. You just might have to work at it a little more during the performance. But so now, this little opening, which is pretty cool, is held open by that flap of paper. And because of the design, it's the exact size right here. And what's convenient is all of these dimensions are perfect to conceal a playing card. And also during performance, you're going to use your fingers as a little extra cover so that you don't have to be exact on the cover up. So during performance, whenever you push this card in, whenever it pushes all the way through, which is the perfect dimensions for it to push through, then you'll just run your thumb along the seam and this envelope will be able to be examined. What's pretty cool is right now, in this moment, this envelope is visually examinable. So you could show the envelope before the routine starts. You could pull this out of your wallet and say, I put something in this envelope, I put a card, we're gonna see that in just a moment. And I like to keep this edge pointed at your spectator. If you point this one, they might see a little bubble there. It doesn't really give away the trick, but I just don't like that. So I like to keep this edge to them. You can show them all the sides of the thing, just keeping that edge away from them. And also what's really crazy is you could have this gimmick signed. You could have the envelope signed right now. Say, I put something in here, I want you to write your name on the envelope, that way we know it's the same envelope at the beginning and the end, and I'm gonna put this back in my wallet. We'll close it up and we'll get back to it later. Another thing that's kind of cool, Michael Amar has a cool routine where you write the time on the card. Something I've done before is you take a marker and you say, I've got an envelope and something I put inside here earlier today, but real quick, could you just sign your name and write the time? So let's say they write 7 p.m. On the envelope, 7 p.m. they write the date, they sign it, so you have all this information on this envelope. And then you put this away and you do a little set for a table or for a group of people at a gig. And 10 minutes later, you've had a card signed and you've done ambitious card or whatnot, and then you load this into the envelope. You can ask everybody what time it is now, and it's 7:10, and this was 7 p.m. Or on the sign card, you could have them write 10 minutes later. They could write their name and they could write 7:10 p.m. So what you create at the end is something that was created at 7:10 gets pulled out of an object that was signed at 7 p.m. So those two things are kind of cool, especially since they get to keep the envelope at the end. So make a couple of these, either on manila paper, white paper. When it comes to paper, you do have to use copy paper stock. I wouldn't use card stock because the gimmick becomes too thick, and you kind of need, for the flap to work, you kind of need for it to be a little bendy like this. But you can experiment with paper if you want. Don't just do what I say. The things I'm telling you are just what I've learned through doing this a bunch. And so basically, that's how this works. Make a couple of these up, and then grab a deck of cards. And now I'll just kind of show you how a basic routine would work. So you've got your Envelock gimmick, and let's see, I'll move this stuff out of the way. And I like to keep this in my wallet, like I said. If you have a different wallet, you can put it in there. You can put this in your pocket. You know, I wouldn't make this design any smaller, or a playing card won't fit, but you could make this design bigger and have this in a stage show and have a full card appear in there, or a prediction, confabulation. But for this demonstration, I'm going to put this in my wallet, and this goes in my back pocket. And then I would have a card selected during a performance and signed. So I will sign it. And then basically what you need to do is secretly get this card folded up. Now, the best way I know how to do this would be the Mercury card fold, which I learned from Jay Sankey. So it's a really useful way of showing the deck, and under the guise of just handling the deck, you secretly get a card folded up under the deck. So I just did Mercury card fold with that signed card. Now this is not mine to teach. I will show you quickly what it is, and if you want more details on the Mercury card fold, I would look into Jay Sankey's work. But basically, what you're gonna do is by gripping the deck and folding back, you're creasing the card once on your thumb, and then when you close your hand, you're folding it under. So that is as much as I can say, just to give you an idea of what you'd be learning. So that's the Mercury card fold. But you don't have to use that. You could use any other misdirection. Let's say, so you're over the shoulder right now, so you could, during a different trick, have their card folded here and folded here. Obviously this is what you're looking at. You could just fold their card under the deck and then hold the deck like so, and the spectator wouldn't see any of that because it would happen under the deck. Or you could do this way later in your set and literally take the deck and put it behind your back and fold a card. I do that a lot. Let's say this is your card, the 6 of spades, signed from an earlier trick. Control their card to somewhere where you know, and then during a different trick, put the deck behind your back, take the top card behind your back, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, and when you bring the deck back in front of your body, just have that card underneath. So use your favorite method for getting a card folded into quarters. So now that we have one folded into quarters, we're going to draw attention to the wallet. And what's nice is in this open display, if you hide the folded up card under the deck, nothing is seen. You're way ahead. So you're gonna put the deck down on the table or hand it to somebody and just keep this card in finger palm or in your hand, even in a fist. Show the wallet on both sides, and you're gonna place the wallet directly onto your hand. So you are looking at my view, so you're gonna see how this works, but if you just place the wallet right on your hand, now you can hand the wallet back and forth, and underneath you are just handing the card with it. So now you're really free. You can open up the wallet. I like to show this to them one more time, and then I like to turn this over so they see both sides of the wallet, draw attention to something being in there, and then as you're removing the wallet, you're just gonna slide the card under the wallet, and friction, if you place everything on your fingers, will cause the card to stay under the envelope, and you can put the wallet away. So now you have this envelope here, and as you're showing them this card that's already in there, all you have to do is push this card in that seam. Now I like to push the folded edge into there, and I like pushing it from right to left with my right hand. But if for some reason you've got here, it's just a little more difficult to line it up, but it still works, or under the misdirection of covering your fingers, you can turn this thing around. So this just gets pushed in, and whenever it gets pushed in, keep pushing. You're gonna feel it push past that fold. You're gonna push it all the way in, pinch here, and then I'm just gonna run my thumbs across that seam, just like this. And whenever I show the envelope on all sides now, you can see up close on camera that this is sealed. So there's no way of opening that without tearing the envelope. Even if you tried to pull right now and pull this apart, you would tear the envelope like a real envelope would act, which is really nice. So now you've got the spectator's signed card inside the envelope. You can hand this to them, have them open it, which is way better than you opening it. I feel like if you open it, you get accused of so many more things, but you would not want to have them think that you did something sneaky. So just have them open it. They can peel this open here which they'll see it tear because you really did glue it. And let's see, if they open like this and they reach inside, they're gonna pull out their card, and if they look inside, there's nothing to find. It's just the regular design of an envelope, which is really nice. If you want to not have the line in there, you can have one of these gimmicks printed on cardstock on another piece of paper and then trace it so that you don't have any guidelines. These guidelines are really helpful when you're first making these. And even still today, I still use them, and I don't think seeing one line inside of an envelope gives away how the trick works. And then when they open up the card, there is their signed card. So that's it. That's how the trick works. Now you know. Now you know how to make them, and now I'm just gonna give you a couple of ideas as to what you could use this for. Now you've got an Envelock gimmick, and what are you gonna use it for? Well, here are a couple of ideas so that you don't just have to do card tricks. This is really easy to do with a card trick. You do ambitious card or some type of signed card routine, then the card can end up inside this envelope. That's what I use it for most. I always have one in my wallet ready to go in case I want to use it for anything, but you can use it for so many other things. Like I said, now that you have the file and the design, you can blow up the design so it's bigger and have it printed at like a UPS store or Kinko's, and have it big and fold it up and have a stage trick where something ends up inside, locked inside a signed sealed envelope from the beginning of the show. Or if you're doing close-up, it doesn't have to be a card trick. You could have something written. If you do double writing, where you have a couple of things double written and show that you have a pad of paper, and you ask the spectator, name any color. They say blue, and you write down blue, and then underneath you write down blue on another piece of paper. Hand them their piece of paper, fold up that one, and show that at the beginning you had predicted they would say the word blue or color blue. It's a really bad example. Another example is with money. Now, I like to use an Envelock gimmick for a routine by Aussie Wind called Time is Money. Now, if you are not familiar with Aussie Wind, what is wrong with you? Get on it. Look up that name right now. ASIWIND, amazing magician, Aussie Wind. He has a trick where you have a bill and you borrow a bill from the spectator. Their bill is signed. You put both of their bills in their hand, and then one of them disappears, and you could make it reappear in this envelope. The reason why I like doing that routine is it's a full routine without playing cards, and it all fits in my wallet. All I need is one of my bills, and I borrow a bill. There's no gimmicks in his routine. He has it end up under a spectator's watch, which I love to do just as much. But if the spectator's not wearing a watch, you can use this gimmick, which is kind of cool. So you place your bill and their bill into their hand, and then while they're still looking at both of their bills, you reach into your wallet and you pull out this envelope, you load their signed bill into it, and you say, just so you know, in case something goes wrong in this trick, you get whatever's in the envelope. And you put the envelope back on the table, go on with Aussie's routine, which allows for you to very visually cause their bill to vanish, and now you're left just holding yours. And then you could hand them the sealed envelope from the beginning of the trick. They tear it open, and inside is their signed bill, which is pretty cool. And if you want to do that, like I said at the beginning, I would just place a folded up bill inside and run your fingers over the edges so that you can make it appear in there. So basically what I'm saying is this is a utility item that you can use for anything. Don't be limited by an ambitious card routine where a signed card ends up in here. That's a great trick. You can do that, but don't stop there. You can make coins appear in here, folded up pieces of paper, other things. Folded up pieces of things is kind of your limitation with this size. If you make it bigger, you make playing cards, driver's licenses, other things appear inside a wallet. If you made one big enough, you could make someone's wallet appear inside the envelope, which is crazy. So that's really it. Hopefully you enjoy the Envelock gimmick and make a bunch of these up and perform it yourself. And thank you for purchasing this. I hope you have as much fun with these things as I do. And until next time, thanks.